Well, hello everybody. What's going on? It's me, Generic Pie, back with the exciting round. What round are we in, Biz? Is it round 4 or round 5?
It is round four, round of 16, I think.
Round of 16. Round 4, tiebreaker against the man himself, Biz. Thank you for joining me for some co-commentary today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So if you haven't already checked out Biz's channel, I'll put a link to it below. He shared the outcome of the second game. The fact that there is a third game video will tell you that we won one of the first two games. But yeah, he's putting out some great videos. So yeah, definitely check that out and subscribe. But yeah, so this was our third matchup to get into the last 8. And it was an interesting bidding process. I was kind of curious how you were thinking about this leading up to the game.
I had some interesting tech from James after our round 2 game. He was recommended in the regular and Erebor, and I was kind of excited to try it out. Um, I I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the balance is. I go back and forth on this a lot. Sometimes I think it's as much as 4 would be necessary, but I think really it just comes down to the dice and how the first few turns go, and then you kind of know whether you made a bad decision or not.
Yeah, it's
Um,
a tricky one. Often it just comes down to the cards you drew. Like in the last round, I went really hard on Lorien and Erebor, and then also drew the Lorien and Erebor mustering cards. So it just kind of made it almost impossible to take those for my opponent.
yeah.
So that's great. And then in another game, you get mustering cards that are useless, and they manage to take the strongholds anyway. So it's still in the lap of the gods, I think. But I think it was interesting what you went for. Just to clarify, are they on the board already? Yes, they are. So you went for a reg in Erebor, a reg in Carrick and Dale, and an elite in Dol Amroth, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, and I was actually going to go for something pretty similar because I really thought in the lead up to this game I was going to be playing as the free people. I had a feeling you were going to start at 1.5, and then I was going to bid back at you on 2, and then you were going to accept free people on 2.5. So I was actually going to go for something very similar. I think I was going to go for like a reg in Erebor, a reg in Lorien, an elite in Dol Amroth, and then maybe like a reg in Dale or something. So like basically only a single point of difference. So we would have been very similar situations. But in terms of how the cards were, so you had mustering, so you had a nice. Oh, sorry, this is me. I had Desperate Battle. I was a shadow, of course, and Foul Thing, which is pretty handy early game. And you had a so Bilbo's way too early, annoyingly for you, but you do have a playable card at least.
Yeah, I'm totally happy with that starting hand. I feel like I start with Path of the Roses half the time, so
Oh, that's the
anything I
worst.
can play.
Yeah. So I went zero eyes, rolled 2, and you got this not a great roll. I mean, you do have like the double Palantir to potentially play cards, and you got the hybrid, but it's not enough movement really. I've got the enough to get a minion. So how did you feel about this?
There's always kind of a really simple view of the game, which is I want movement.
Hmm.
And from that perspective, it is a little bit low, but it's also a pretty balanced roll. So, that shows up in the aggregate. If I get this and then I get 3 movement next turn, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, and I do think early Panthers can be nice, especially if you have like one of those cards that allows for drawing multiple cards where you've got Gandalf. So let's see how this goes. So you pass, I get Isengard, you play aim it, and yeah, so you draw. That's a bit annoying. You draw. I mean, Daylight's obviously great, but not what you want at this point. What do? I do very standard army moves, sorting out guys into Iran Mordor and near Harad. Get the guys into Morannon. You move. You are hit for a single reveal, which is pretty damn unlucky. Classic, as you say.
At least it's not a 0 reveal.
Yeah. I think that's what happened. You got that in the last game, right? When you were playing as a free people was the first tile, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah, that's rough. So yeah, I say the 0 at least improvement. So you kill Gandalf, and I get Saruman. You then flip, and then this is like one I'm kind of. I think this is a slightly greedy play, to be honest. I think the smart play here is probably just move leadership, and like because you've got hit on a single move, I should have just got Nazgul on you. But I just saw Foul Thing from the depot, and I was like, oh my god, if I reveal you, that's amazing. And if I snipe Strider, then I'm just
Yeah,
like,
those.
I'm in dreamland. But I think like a smarter play is just to hold on to that to try and reveal you over Moria. I think it's a bit greedy to play it here, to be honest. But I went for it and I drew an eye. So standard, yep.
Well, if it's gonna hit an eye, it's gonna hit an eye. You're gonna want to play it eventually anyway.
Well, that's it. You know, if I'd held it for over Moria and drawn an eye, it's the same difference, right? Although I would have got rerolls on you if I had moved the fetish, the Naz guy. So I get Monsters Roused to get another Desperate Battle. So pretty happy with that. And Black Captains is good. You get I Will Go Alone and Help Unlooked For. 3 eyes in the box now. You get a nice roll. Big stuff. Move the Fellowship. Hit again. Not a reveal at least. But not lucky, obviously. Frodo wants to go home already. I guess it's pretty standard stock stuff at this stage of the game. Okay, so what was I thinking? It's been about a week or so since we played this. I guess, what were you just thinking? Anything in particular? Just getting Gandalf, I suppose?
Happy to get Gandalf. I might ring move here just because I don't really have a card I want to play. Um, I don't really put a lot of value in drawing cards most of the time.
Yeah, especially when you've got a full hand as well. Like you,
Yeah, and
well,
I can hide with the hybrid. It's nice to prep the elves, but I've been very low on movement, so I think that's what I'm thinking at this point.
yeah, I think that's very reasonable. So you get the Gandyman into Fangorn. I do draw a card. I think looking at this situation, I was kind of in a similar boat where I didn't really have a strong use of this card. I did actually really consider playing Monsters Roused and moving a Trollshaw's guy onto you.
That would be fun.
But I just felt like it was such an inefficient play and it would really slow down my military and just not that smart. So I just thought, screw it, whatever, I'll just draw a card and see what I get. And then I draw Corsairs, which is like obviously the most pivotal card I could possibly have drawn.
Yeah, great card.
You then, yeah, you ring move, and I think you say like a very un-biz move, or yeah, anti-biz moves proving lucrative. So that worked out great. And then this is another decision. I was like, where do I go here? Looks like I'm going for, because obviously I could have just done the standard Elven Pincer. It doesn't look like you're that close to getting the Elves to War anytime soon. So I think in a normal game, I probably would have done that. You might have spooked me a little bit with these regs. Maybe that's why
I love having those guys.
It does like change the dynamic. It makes the Dew line look a lot more scary. So I guess
Well,
I
it's,
just
sometimes I feel like they have a bigger fear factor than an actual effect. Because if they get in, if I scouts in, it's just so bad for Shadow.
exactly, because then just by attacking Woodland Realm, you're putting the North to war. It can get out of hand. The Dale can then move to Arab. Like it just becomes just a bit of a shit show. And the longer I take, the more likely you are to draw scouts as well. So I didn't feel great about it. But having said that, on the flip side, if I just kill the Old Forest Road guys and you don't have a scouts, then it's pretty much business as usual, like up in the Dew line, like, no big deal. So I decided to get a bit fancy, and I've kind of taken to doing this quite a lot recently, is going down this like corridor of uncertainty. Like I don't even know where I'm going at this point. I'm like, maybe I'll go for Helm's Deep, maybe I'll go for Minas Tirith. But normally I like doing this when Lorien is an option, and because I'm kind of indicating that I'm sending Dol Guldur to Lorien, I'm kind of limiting the actual effectiveness of this. So I don't know if this was right, but it's what I went for. Oh no, the reason I did it, of course, I remember now. It's because I have Corsairs. I was like, oh, I would just pincer Gondor instead. That was my plan.
Minas Tirith and Dol Amroth. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
No, I didn't like saying it, so that should tell you everything you need to know.
That's good to hear. Okay, cool. So I keep setting up dudes. Obviously, move the guys to Umbar, and we go on to turn number 3. You get part of the Woses. I get half orcs and flocks. What was your other card? You also got Smeagol. Okay. So you're getting some nice cards for Mordor, but tricky to sometimes play them at this point in the game.
Yeah, it does mean I can run a little bit quicker, but I did hybrid preemptively because I just figured I might not roll a hybrid next turn. I don't know. Maybe I could get the elves or something, but that's what I did.
Yeah. Oh, you mean getting the army into Helm's Deep? Yeah, I think
and Minas Tirith.
And Minas Tirith. Yeah, I think that has better value, especially because this army is present. Like, it's fairly likely that you don't roll a hybrid, and then that does mean that, like, and because you're not holding a scouts as well, there is like an outside chance I can like just destroy the army in Western Mech and get a cheap Helm's Deep or something like that. So I think that makes a lot of sense. So what was this roll? Okay, so I got a pretty nice roll, pretty versatile. Yeah, I'm happy with that. You get a slightly less versatile roll, but you can do some stuff.
And a hybrid, so there you go.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that could have been awkward. So you move the Fellowship. They are fine. Strider is a way better guide than Gandalf. So I have a think here. I think I was just trying to figure out how to go about timing my actions in order to deal with the whole Gondor situation. So I ready dudes, because I obviously have to get the Southrons to war as well. So you move again. You're missed. I keep running fours, bloody fours. So Southron Scott going to war, and you say, "Do you seriously have Corsairs?" Because also, when someone starts putting the Southrons to war with hybrids, it's like, okay, we know what's going on here.
I'm metaphorically falling to my knees at this point.
Exactly. You're like, it's going to be bad. Like maybe, and sometimes people do it so they can get Dol Amroth under siege, but that's clearly like not the case here. I think by doing it like the kind of the long way around. So I get them fully to war. I say, sorry, mate. I play Corsairs. Unbelievable. What a balanced card. Very fair. You play I Will Go Alone. Yeah, so this is when like my haunches go up. I'm like, shit. Like, because I know you like to do that. You like to kind of move. I also like to do that move a lot. Get some companions out onto the board somewhere. Kind of lighten the Fellowship, making it easier to move. Get down to Gollum quicker. But also really strengthening your military defense in the process. But like the fact that you did it this early and the fact that you did it to Helm's Deep, I was like, like I just like, and then you immediately start putting Rohan to war. I put Minas Tirith under siege, and then you start putting Rohan to war. I was like, this just reeks of Woses to me.
Oh, it's real sus, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, because it's scary. It's really scary because like this couple of dudes here coming into Osgiliath, and I was also like, kind of by proxy thinking, if this army comes here and you have help unlooked for, I could be in like really big trouble, because you can basically come in, spook this army away, have a super strong defensive MT, and I presume that's what you were planning, right?
Yeah, I remember the sequencing here was very sad, because I wanted, if I got revealed, or I could just get a little bit more movement, I Will Go Alone directly into Minas Tirith. And it just didn't work out.
Of course. So if you'd actually been hit, so you were actually hoping you'd get hit so that you could then, because I hadn't got Minas Tirith under siege by that point. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah. That would have been really nice. So in a weird way, me hitting you actually helped, not hitting you helped me.
It's still good to not get hit.
True. Yeah. That's one of those kind of, nice problems to have, I guess. So I get the Witch King. You get Rohan even closer to war, so very close now. And I decide, because I don't think I would have gone as aggressively here otherwise. I think I might have even considered, because I do weigh up how to go about doing this. I was like, do I play Black Captains so I can muster a couple of extra Nazgul into here and attack with 5 guys? But it doesn't feel like the best use of Black Captains. I kind of want to use that next turn in case I don't roll any characters and I can move everyone to Dol Amroth. Do I, just play it really safe and just play Black Captains to Dol Amroth now and worry about Minas Tirith later? But I decided not to do that because of this impending kind of threat of Path of the Woses. So I'm like, I kind of want to just like kill Minas Tirith as quickly as possible, even if I have to be really aggressive, just so I can get inside the stronghold. So even if you do play Path of the Woses, you're kind of, you're only getting me under siege rather than actually being able to defend it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of forcing your hand here.
Yeah.
Because I think at this point, I know that I have Path of Woses, and I know that you know. I'm kind of trying to make you go quick.
Yeah.
Because my thinking is, if you don't have a Deadly Strife,
yeah,
it's pretty likely to hold, and a premature attack could go really poorly.
Yeah, totally.
Just blow everything up.
And you're holding you're holding a Daylight, which is really obviously brilliant for this. And we've all seen it a million times when like Shadow attacks into Minas Tirith and they get 1 hit and they get, 4 hits back against them. And like this could easily have like blown up in my face. So what happens is I play my Desperate Battle into your Daylight and I get 2 hits, which is fine. I'm happy with that. above average. You get 2 hits back. And then I press because I'm like, again, as discussed, I think because I'm playing against like a good player, I'm more likely to take risks in this situation. I think if I was playing just a casual game, just a ladder game, and there wasn't as much at stake, I might just think, yeah, I'll just take my time and I'll have a go next turn. But I feel like at this level, I'm like, I got to take risks here and try and stay on top. And okay, it might blow up in my face, but I just decide to go for it.
I think
So
it's totally right. You don't have a lot of actions
yeah,
to do
exactly.
this.
And against a good free people's player, like if you get too passive, it can really come back and bite you. So I decided to just go for it. And I do have a good card for it. I do have another Desperate Battle. So I play it, and I get 1 hit on the action on the combat roll, but then I get 4 hits on the
Yeah,
Gree roll.
that was sad.
Yeah, so that's just like incredibly lucky. So yeah, and you say it's so unbelievably tilted because like you're thinking that this is your way into the game, really. Like if this even goes average and I get, say, I don't know, 1 or 2 hits, even 3 could give you a shot if I didn't have a card to finish it off next turn.
I was definitely a bit hopeful. It maybe I could have played it safer, but I think at the same time, just generating the opportunity for it to go wrong for you is worth it.
Yeah,
It didn't.
yeah,
You just got to keep trying to do that. But I don't think it was so insanely lucky that you took it with 2 desperate battles.
yeah.
It definitely could have gone better for me, but that's how it goes sometimes.
I did actually, after the fact, look it up on Doruk's simulator thingy, and it said, I think, if I recall correctly, it was 23% chance of taking it on a single die. So not crazy odds, but not high odds either. So like the odds were like definitely, against me to actually do what I just did.
The other thing though is if let's say it ends up 4-2, right? I have 2 regulars left, you have 4, and then you play half orcs, and then you attack again, and you have enough time to do that,
Sure.
barely. You might be able to take it then.
That's a fair point, actually. Yeah, because if first thing next turn, you're obviously going to get Rohan to war with your first die. Then I muster, then you play Path, and then I try and finish it off. So it would have been like a much closer, more tense race, but it still would have kind of been just within my grasp. So yeah. So we go on to the next turn. I have Isildur's Bane and a Deadly Strife. And you have Wisdom of Elrond, and there and back again. You declare into Path Celebrant, and first ship's okay. So I get this very character-heavy turn, and you get a couple of moves, a few hybrids. First ship moves. You're missed. I now try and go for Dol Amroth. Try and just finish off Gondor, basically. And again, I go really aggressive here. I just decided to try and smash it down. So I maybe could have just gone with the Strife to begin with, but I think I was trying to save that. And I felt like I could be a bit greedy and maybe get away with a Relentless Assault here.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I go for that, and you play your Confusion. I sack 2, and then it goes horribly wrong. So I get very confused. 2 of my guys die. And then you get 3 hits, plus 2, so 5. So like all the luck that I got in Minas Tirith is kind of reversed in Dol Amroth. So that's like really horrible. So I'm down to 5 HP against 4 HP. So looking quite desperate there. And I mean, I think Strife would have gone pretty horribly as well. You would have also got insane hits. Oh, actually,
when Confusion hits, it's great.
Yeah. If I played Strife, you would have got 6 hits.
Wow.
Oh my god! And I would have got 3 against 6. Okay, so it would have still been pretty down brutal. So then you start mustering in Peligir and Lamadin, and at this point, I'm also like, I have a feeling that you might also have Help Unlooked For, because that kind of tied into the whole Woes' play. I was like, crap, I need to also rush to take this thing down. So again, I don't love playing these kind of cards with army dice, but I was like, I got to do it. So play half orcs into Dol Amroth. You muster a reg. I'm curious, like, would you have tried to muster again and then done it, or would you have just played Help and Look For right away here?
I was considering, because I was thinking, okay, you're gonna attack. You're probably not gonna take it. If you do, it's sad, but I'll
Yeah.
know. and then I might character die, move into Lamedon, and then play
Yeah,
help and look for.
yeah, with the 4-4-1 army, I think that would have been really nice. Yeah, I think that's the play. I think that would have been a really good play. I'm kind of giving away what happens now. So I attack DA, and now I just decide to go all in with the Strife. And luckily for me, you don't have any strong defensive cards for the combat. So I get the Strife, and I just get the 4 hits I need. So once again, you're like so close to having a really cool play, like a relatively unusual play coming off, and it just gets kind of nipped in the bud just as it's about to happen.
Yeah, it's the almosts and maybes that are very sad this game.
Yeah. So from there, you move the Fellowship again. You get hit on the reroll. Good Nazgul. I didn't say good Nazgul, which is bad practice from me.
Yeah,
Bad,
poor guy.
poor form. Yeah, he's not going to help me next time. He's going to have low morale. But hey, he's still chasing. Good job, guy. He's not giving up. So I move in my leadership. I'm just trying to go for Lorien. I'm trying to recall what was my thinking for the rest of this game. Where was I going to get my victory points? Presumably deal with Gondor for 5. Maybe Lorien, obviously, for 7. And then some combination of cities and maybe Erebor, I guess, was my thinking. Because I obviously don't fancy Helm's Deep. And Rivendell's going to be really tricky because I don't have the right cards for it. So that was kind of my general thinking. What am I doing? So yeah, so join up in... so another thing I was really keen to do was to make sure that Pelargir couldn't get out of hand, basically. Because I figure that's going to be an important victory point to take. And if there was going to be some way back in the game, or for you to just like be really annoying, it's just like mustering the hell out of this. So
It was definitely my preference for Pelgier to get out of hand.
Yeah, totally.
If I had to choose.
And if I try and deal with it with either of these armies, I'm just opening myself up. So I was trying to okay, I'm going to prioritize getting this Minas Morgul army down and just try and use them to kind of snuff out Gondor. So I put Lorien under siege. You flip the Fellowship, and then I start mustering. I activate the Oliphant factory, start mustering Oliphants up in Rune. Then we go on to turn number 5. House of the Stewards. Can you play that in Rohan? No, just Gondor.
It's be Gondor region.
Damn. Makes sense though. And you get rid of that one naturally. And then I draw Cruel Weather as well. It's like, come on, man. Hill Trolls. So I've got some pretty nice cards. Isildur's Bane is obviously nice. Cruel Weather's amazing. Hill Trolls helps me to bolster armies. You've got some... These are kind of like... It's probably not the cards you want in a game like this, I guess. You're probably looking more for more mustering cards. You want things like Power 2 Great, Ketterborns, things like that, I guess.
Red Arrow is pretty nice. I remember thinking here, my 2 ways to win are either just running and getting lucky and getting into Mordor and just going, or somehow recapturing a stronghold. And unfortunately, both were left pretty well stocked. If they'd been like a 2 or a 3, I think there'd be a much better chance. But Red Arrow does help with that. It gets Rohan a little ready, and then I can still Wozes maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and there was actually a point when when Minas Tirith hadn't been put under siege yet, when I was kind of very vaguely considering the option of like not taking it, but just covering all my bases, just like putting a guy in Druiden, putting a guy in Lossinac, killing the guy in Osgiliath, and it would have been incredibly inefficient. But I was kind of like, that was like an idea I very briefly flirted with because I was just very afraid of it. And I haven't dealt with it yet. I was also kind of like, it was very unlikely, but I was thinking like there is like a way, like if you got desperate, like a cornered free people can be quite dangerous when they just start taking huge swings. And if you have things like Through a Day and a Night, maybe you like Wozes to Osgiliath and steal Umbar, or something like that as well, was kind of what I was a little bit afraid of. So you get this kind of awkwardly movement aggressive turn. I mean, it's good for getting into Mordor potentially, but not very flexible.
I almost wonder if it's bad for me. I don't know, because it makes me just sprint, which I think is reasonable here, but it does mean that it's sprint or bust at this point.
It's one of those turns that, as a free people player, you feel like you're on rails. You're like, well, I guess that's my turn dictated for me then, because I don't have much wiggle room here. Like, what do you? You're not going to play Bilbo's song. You're not. I mean, maybe you could play there and back again, but there's not really a super obvious use for that. Smeagol, sure, if you have the extra die, but realistically, it's move, hide, move, hide, move, hide, and then one will, which you might need to use to move anyway.
If I had one hybrid, I could play Red Arrow and then Path of the Woses and then do something.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
risky. I don't know.
It opens you up for, like, depending on how many you send, it does potentially open up Helm's Deep, but you could get a nice little force there. Like, maybe you could look to take back Dol Amroth, you know, if you can get a big army into Pell, start mustering. Like, it would have given you options at least. So you move, you're hit. It's a 3. Pippin pops out into Osgiliath.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. So I'm obviously wary of you getting into Mordor this turn, so I want to try and get a reveal here, and then make it so like the cruel weather could actually stop you getting into Mordor this turn. So I get a reveal, which is as good as a 3 or a 2, I think, for that particular die, that card.
That's quite good.
Yeah. Then you flip. I go for Lorien. Just try and take that down. So Great Host against No Quarter. Kind of sad that No Quarter, the help and look for never got played. Just roll a bunch of 6s, you know. You get 2 back because of the No Quarter. I get 3+1. So yeah, Lorien's just a bust. Press, draw. We come to kill Olokai. No card it. They are terrible. I'm just kind of using a card because I don't really have another use for it. And down goes the elves. Yeah.
This was the third of the 3 sad sieges of this game because Helm's Deep could take Lorien too. It could retake Lorien if that went really close.
Yeah. If there was just like a single guy left or 2 guys left, you know, you can get because you obviously, Rohan has a massive force pool as well. You can easily like keep Helm's Deep well protected and then send off the big boys, the captains, to try and save the day. So yeah, just so many close like maybes, as you said, ifs, buts, and maybes kind of thing. So
it's not bad to roll movement either, though. I don't know. It's so difficult to say what to do as free people.
Yeah, I mean, getting into Mordor this turn is your chance of like staying in the game, having a foothold in the game. I think if you don't get into Mordor this turn, it's looking really desperate.
Definitely.
So I hit, and this is crucial because I think if I had got a reveal there, then are you getting into Mordor? No, because. Oh, actually, it depends. It depends because if you'd use the die to hide and then moved and not been revealed, then I could have guaranteed you don't get into Mordor with cruel weather. Whereas this forces me to, and then you lose Strider for a 2 as well on a random, which isn't that crazy, I guess, but obviously doesn't help.
Taking a few randoms.
Yeah, so then I cruel weather straight away because I don't want to risk you not being of any use. You say, what a joke. Yeah, understandable there. You move again, and then it's another hit. So at this point, like, corruption's becoming a real viable pathway for me as well because you're down to 4 net corruption pre-Mordor, and you have to move again to get into Mordor this turn. So yeah, so I'm kind of, because you don't have any musters this turn, I want to kind of take advantage of that and deal with Pelargir as quickly as possible.
Makes sense.
So yeah, so I also start thinking about cities as well. I'm never going to go for Helm's Deep, but if I can get this army pressuring Rohan, take Edoras, that obviously gives me like another avenue for points. You move, you pretty much have to. It's a reveal. At least it doesn't actually reveal you, sorry. It's just because you got the Golem.
Golem did his thing. Good for him.
Yeah, good job, Golem. So I'm mustering in North Rune. Yeah, those musters are actually quite handy when you just have the spare one just to throw into North Rune. And yeah, just use the ring to just make sure you can't get an early muster into Pelargir next turn or get the Hobbit in there. Because you could have done, like, if you got a hybrid, you could, like, I don't know, move everybody in first thing next turn if you wanted to and just make that really difficult to take. But yeah, and again, I'm just rolling 6s, so you don't even do any hits to me there. One hit to me. I did very briefly considering putting a dude here just to block any, like, you know, attempt at Umbar, but I just thought, screw it, whatever. If you do that, then I'll just deal with it.
I think it's a turn too late. I think it needed to be this turn if I was going to do military stuff.
Yeah, and it got you into Mordor, but at what cost, you know, because that's important in one sense, but it kind of narrows your avenues of staying in the game. It kind of forces you to go all in on the Fellowship, really, and makes any other avenues quite tricky. Because that's a turn where you could have bolstered Rohan, you could have done some cool Woes thing, you could have you would have had options basically.
Yeah, on the other hand, I am in Mordor.
Yeah.
Corruption isn't great, but I have Bilbo's Song, and if I can move 2 to 3 times, it's hard for you to win this turn, and
Yeah,
then I just need to move 2 to 3 times next turn, and that's that.
that is true.
So,
Yeah, you got a couple of rings still.
sometimes the sprint is your best call, and that's what it was here, I think,
Yeah,
with the
that's very
dice.
fair. Yeah, and I mean, all the things I said, like they're not really like a guarantee. Okay, you get Rohan to war, and you play Woes. It's like, what are you actually doing? Maybe you're defending Pelegir. It's pretty unlikely you're going to retake Minas Tirith. It's pretty dice intensive. You're going to need like multiple dice to do that. So it's not ideal either. So yeah,
I have more
maybe
fun doing that though.
it would have been cool. You would have got some cool points. Right, so you get King Brands and the Grey Company. I get Grond and the Shadow Lengthens / Movement Kill. So those are also like really handy cards for me. Up to 7 victory points. 3 people are in Mordor, the Fellowship, sorry. Let's have a look at the hunt pool. So it's there were no tiles in. Pretty small pool. Fairly nice pool, but obviously quite a good big chance of hitting eyes. Only one other eye added, and then you only get one move. Like this is a turn where you needed the moves. Yeah, that's big. Let's have a look at the stats. Can we see the dice? And also, yeah. So look, I'm +7 on 6s. You're down on wills, down on movement overall.
I'm surprised I'm down on movement after rolling 5 last turn.
Yeah, it does
Been
seem
very
a bit. It is kind of one of those classic War of the Ring things where you get all of the same die in the same turn. But in your early turns, you had a single move first turn, a single move second turn. You used a ring. You got to commit the will to Gandalf. Yeah, you didn't really. It was kind of all came at once, didn't it? So you move. It's an eye, so that slows you down as well. Corruption is now up to 7.
Yeah, if I don't get revealed there, another move. I don't know. I'm gonna hit my reveals eventually anyway, so
Yeah,
it's tough.
true. Yeah, because there were just some you're pretty much guaranteed to get revealed at some point. Well, actually, if you could, there was like a. Yeah, actually, even with this, you were going to get at least one reveal unless you got it on the final dial. But like, what are the odds of that? So I get the mouth into play. I'm trying to think. I'm just going straight for Erebor this turn, I think. I play Olokai up here, partly because I also want to, if it goes badly in Erebor, I want to be able to have a guy I can downgrade for Hill Trolls to bolster this army more. I get the mouth. Yeah, so that was part of the thinking with the mouth, so I could have leadership in both, in case you try and fight me with the Helm's Deep guys, so I can hopefully hold Edoras. You play Bilbo's naturally, down to 5 corruption. I draw a card. Don't know what I was looking for there in particular. Maybe just probably just like a general combat card I could use. You play Smeagol. I start moving armies. So I've got a pretty fat stack up there in East Rune, 5-4-5.
Yeah, that is very nice.
Yeah, it's quite scary. You play King Brands. So yeah, north of, looking very scary, but not pretty kind of neutered. And then you get Kirdans, which is, I mean, if things had gone differently in Gondor, that could have been a great card to play in like Lamadin or somewhere.
Yeah, that's
But
why I think it was right to take out Polar Gear when you did, because there was definitely something I could have done if that had just gone slower.
yeah, it was like high on my list of priorities just to make sure that, I mean, I was actually, maybe I should have just dealt with these guys, just killed the Lamadin guys. But I think I had dice committed elsewhere. I wanted to just try and put pressure on you elsewhere. So I go for Iron Hills. Now you play your scouts. So you got a fully stocked Erebor, which is nice. Use a ring to flip the Fellowship. Yeah, makes sense. Because there is like an outside chance you could dunk next turn if you get really lucky.
Yep, I'm playing for that. Either that or something like you get a bad roll. basically, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, you're just hoping I get one of those like freak rolls, and you do get like a really nice one, and then you have 2 turns to dunk. Here, I think this was like worked out quite nicely. I put like a dude in Western Met just to stop you combining dudes, like because I knew that if you did want to come for Edoras, it would be nice for you to be able to join up the guys from Horsebison and Helm's Deep to try and take it back, and that would just make it awkward for you.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Turn 7, Shadows Gather, another Mumakil, a red tile. You get Riders of Theoden and Dead Men. So you play your Mustering in Helm's Deep and an Edoras. Only get 2 movements, so you're even with the ring. Unless you had There's Another Way, you're not going to be able to dunk this turn.
What I need to do this turn is retake Edoras and hold Dale, or maybe Path of the Woses and retake Pelargir too. It feels very unlikely. I need Westonnet, Edoras, Path, Pelargir. I think I'm going to go for the move, though. I think I'm just going to hope Dale holds. I think that's my only play.
Yeah, I think so.
I need to get some movement.
And it is like a 3-2-1 in there. Like it could go... I have to kill Edorbor and be able to take Dale with 6 guys in it, presumably. So that's by no means like a given on my part. So I go for Edoras just to try and deal with that straight away. You don't get any hits back. I don't get any hits either. I press, I get my 6s, take it down. So that worked out nice as well. Because if you get a couple of hits against me there, you know, suddenly Erebor is super takeable. You can maybe kill the mouth. Move the Fellowship. It's a 3 tile, which is, yeah, pretty brutal for corruption. Takes you up to 8. I put the red tile in there because I know that I'm going to have to use... If you use a ring, I'm going to have to use a ring with one of the musters anyway. Go for Erebor, pass, and then I play Grond. So what cards do I have? So yeah, I've got these nice Mumakils, which are perfect for this fight. I think Grond is just massive in this situation, obviously. Makes the whole thing way more takeable. You've got Daylight, but that's kind of it in terms of defensive cards. So I start off with a Mumik.
If it wasn't for Grond, Charge would be pretty nice, I think, but...
Yeah, that's true, actually. Charge would be pretty decent here. So I get 2, 3 hits, and then, yeah, you say that is GG because the Mumakil activates. So 3+1. I feel like Mumakil hardly ever activates for me, so that's quite a rare one. So you're already down to 3, and now it's looking desperate in Erebor because you're not going to get enough, because you needed to get some hits back there, really, when you had a fully stocked stronghold. I go for the second Mumakil. You say, I will show you after the game what I had and how unbelievably sad this was. So I'm guessing is that referring to all of the earlier stuff we were talking about, like the path and whatnot?
Yeah, help unlooked for, all that sort of stuff. I had many plans this game that did not pan out. But that is the Free People experience.
Yeah, it is indeed. So Mumakil into Daylight this time. So I get 1 hit, you get 1 back. Round 3, I no card it. And then I just get 2 6s because that's what I do this game, apparently. And you get 1 back. So I've still got a 3-3. So I've got a 9 HP army with full leadership attacking into a 6, which doesn't look good for the Northmen.
Yeah, I needed to get you down to like a 6 or a 7, I think, is basically what it was.
Yeah, exactly. And then just hope that first round goes really horribly for me and you get a bunch of hits or something like that. So now I'm up to 10, and you're kind of obliged to... so you can take back, I guess, Edoras this turn, if you just send everyone to Westermet and then attack in with a ring. But obviously, that's completely, like, doesn't matter in the slightest if Dale falls. So yeah, it all just comes down to Dale. So I play my Hill Trolls. So this is why I had that.
Very smart.
Yeah, the Olokai earlier to make sure I could do this. So that helps. And go for Dale. And you sudden strike it. You get the hit. That's nice. So you instantly cancel out the Hill Troll. It was like, oh. I get 2, you get 3, which isn't bad. But as you say, it's not enough, right? Because, well, I mean, I suppose, like, it's what, 6 against 4 here, but the rerolls are just so brutal.
It's possible. I do think, yeah, I think if it was down to 6 HP or so, that could have held.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I think so.
but at
Yeah.
9, it's not enough.
And I'm kind of obliged to keep pressing so I don't give you back the city defensive bonus. Like, if I had a smaller army, it could have got quite tricky because I'm kind of gambling. And then if I fail, then you can maybe even retake Eric. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right, yeah.
yeah, it changes the entire dynamic.
I'm a little surprised how close it was. I'm looking at the second round of combat.
Yeah,
Um,
it's only a
it
couple of
feels like
HP
it
in
was,
it.
yeah.
And you got 3 hits there as well. So, but then it's press no
They fought to
cards.
the end.
Yeah, so 3 against 1. So it was really close. If I hadn't had a Grand, this would have got, you would have had another turn. And I would have probably had to like muster more in North Rune with these musters or something. Maybe I would have been more obliged to hold on to the Shadows Gather or something like that, and been a bit less aggressive in Erebor and taken my time after post Grand. I don't know.
I wonder if you could have taken Woodland too. Um,
Oh, instead of
I was really
Dale.
concerned about that.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad point, actually, because I mean, let's assume. So I'm using this die here. So 1, 2, 3. Yep, I could have gone for Woodland Realm with what, a 4, 3, 5. Did I have any cards though? I only had Relentless Assaults. What did I play a card against Dale? I don't think I did. I would have been very reliant on 6s, but you wouldn't have been able to hit back too much. I think I just felt more comfortable going for Dale.
I think with how it worked out, it was the right call. I was also considering if you just bypassed Erebor and just walked into Woodland Realm
I
and
did.
then took Dale.
Yeah, I did really think about that. I seriously thought if I'd had more dice the previous turn, I think, just like sitting on Erebor, putting like, I think my worry with that was if you were able to sortie out, because I'd have to leave some guys behind sitting on Erebor. And you'd probably do that, and then there's a chance if it goes to shit. But like, I did have Grond against a 1/1/1. Like, that's not going to go well. But then you could also move the dwarves into Dale to defend the final victory point. It might have been harder to take Dale. So yeah, but like that was something I thought it would be a funny thing to do. Not sure if I've seen that done before.
I think, given you had Grond and double Mumakil, I think it was just like there's a lot of fancier things you could do, but I think that was just a really good play to finish off.
Just to go for it. Yeah. So you say GG, and that was it. Yeah, I got the hit, and then there's no way of really taking it back. So yeah, even if you had gone for like because this army has obviously a very good chance of retaking Edoras, but what does it matter? So Path of Woes is, and that was it.
Did in my heart.
You took it back in your heart, exactly. But yeah, like, I mean, as I said in a bunch of my previous videos, I've bitched about my luck in the tournament on many occasions and how everything's gone wrong for me. And like this year, it's the opposite. I just have had a really good run of games and good luck. And I don't know what you really could have done in this one, to be honest. It just felt like, between the cards and the dice, like +10 on 6s, with Corsairs, with Cruel Weather.
This game is kind of funny, though, because I feel like our first game, it was like, I really felt like there was truly nothing I could do. In this game, there was so many almosts in this situation.
Sure.
And it was pretty close. I don't know. I kind of think the 2.5 or around that is pretty good for free people.
Yeah.
Because considering that you were up on 6s and, you had like Cruel Weather and Corsairs, most of the muster points were able to make a difference. Dol Amroth was slower because of the extra elite.
It almost stopped Dol Amroth dead. If I hadn't had half orcs, and a strife, you're probably going to be able to help unlooked for into that thing.
So it's interesting how, despite it felt at the time, it felt like, oh no, I can't get anything going right. It was pretty close, and I'm not sure what I should have done differently, but I also think you just played it very efficiently. So
yeah, thanks.
When there's a good shadow player, it's hard to find counterplay.
Yeah, that's it. If you're not given like that opening, it can just be incredibly hard as free people. And the risks I took all basically paid off. Like the gamble in Minas Tirith was the big one. And yeah, it just like if that goes the other way, that's a completely different game, and you probably win it. It pretty comes down to like a corruption game. It's probably a corruption game, and you have to slow down. So then it just changes the entire dynamic. And maybe I'm like praying for red tiles or something. Yeah. So in the next round, I'm going to be playing against Wei, who he beat Ira with a Free People military victory.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's been with a Free People military victory, which is insane.
At his own game.
I know.
Wow.
So like when I found out, I just sent Wei like the Ralph Wiggum on the bus, like I'm in danger meme. Like the
Wei is a great player.
Yeah.
We've played some crazy Return of the King games.
Yeah, he's an absolute savage with the Free People. I'm gonna like him and Ira actually like they literally played Return of the King rules, so they actually set it up for Return of the King in the main tournament. So suffice to say, I will not be doing that. I will be trying to pray that he doesn't get a good turn one, like Aragorn roll, and is forced to play boring Free People. But yeah, that'll be a fun matchup. And yeah, I think for pretty much anyone to go deep in these tournaments, like you just need a run of like, you know, you need to play it well, but you need Java on your side as well, because without the other.
There's been some great players eliminated in
exactly, yeah. I think Bahili got knocked out by like a Isorders 6 Shelob. Like, what'd you do with that? Yeah, what'd you do with that, right?
I think past a certain point, you can get lucky all you want, but in order to still be alive, you got to be able to take advantage of your luck.
That's true. That's true. So hopefully it'll continue into the next round, into the final 8.
Good luck. That'll be a fun matchup.
Yeah, thanks, man. So let's have a quick final look at the stats. So yeah, +4, +10 against +3, really, for the Free People. I also was a plus on attacks as well. And you were down on wills, but high on Palantirs and characters. So nothing too crazy, but obviously, well, the 10's pretty crazy. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for doing the co-coms. That was fun. And
yeah, it was a good time.
I will, see you around.
Yeah, cool. Have a good one.
Cheers, man. Thanks for... Oh yeah, and just as a weird coincidence, we played this game like sandwiched between our respective birthdays. So, like my birthday was the day before, and yours was like the day after. Like,
it was the birthday game.
It was a birthday sandwich game. Cool. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. I love you. Bye bye.